To part two of my notes on comparing and ordering rational numbers. Now remember, a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. So on the next two examples, we're going to have to order the following. Well, in this one, we're going to order the following from least to greatest, ascending order, by converting all the decimals. Stack and line up your decimals to make ordering easier. When you do these on your own, if you'd like to change them to percents, that's great. So the first one is 7 to the first power, which is just 7. Okay, and I can add a 0 for 7.0. 0.71, so 71 hundredths. 7 tenths would be 0.7. And then the last one, we move it 1. 2 to the left, so it would be 715 thousandths. And I can drop a 0 there for a placeholder. I can drop 2 zeros here, 1 0 here, and 2 zeros here, so they all have the same amount of places after. Now we can clearly see that this one's the greatest because this is the only one that starts with 7. They all start with 0. So this is the greatest, so we'll call that number 4. Now we're going to look for the smallest. So 710 thousandths, 700 thousandths, or 715 thousandths. Hopefully you were thinking 700 thousandths. That's going to be followed by 710 thousandths, and then last 715 thousandths. Now when you write your final order, we're not going to write them all as decimals. We're going to write what we originally had. So this one was the smallest, so we had the third one, so we're going to start with 7 tenths, followed by this one, which was the second one, 71 hundredths, followed by 71.5%, and then last 7 to the first power. And I'm going to box it in. Okay, the next problem says order the following from greatest to least, or descending order. So we're going to stack and line up your decimals and make them easier to order. So the first one is 3 and 3 tenths. So I can read that since it's out of 10, so it's 3 and 3 tenths. This one, 1/3, we already know that that is 0.3 repeating, so we can write 0.3 with a bar over the 3. This one we have to change to a decimal, 1, 2. So 3 and 37 hundredths. And then here we have already a decimal, it's 33 thousandths. Now we can make them all have the same amount after the decimal, add a 0 here. Now careful here, we're going to add 3's because it's repeating, and then we're going to add 2 zeros here. So this one was greatest to least. So we've got to look at the greatest. So look at the ones place, and we see that we have the 3's. So this is 3 and 300 thousandths, 3 and 370 thousandths. Which one is greater? Good, this one. And that means this one is second. Now we've got 2 more to look at, 333 thousandths or 33 hundredths. Which one is greater? Good, this one. And then last is this one. So now we need to put them in the correct order using the original. So we had this one first, which was the third one. So we have 337%, followed by 3 and 3 tenths, followed by 1/3, followed by 33 hundredths. And I like to box it in. Okay. So the next part is order scientific notation from greatest to least. So remember, when we compared and ordered scientific notation, all we did was look at the exponent to tell which one's the greatest and which one's the least. So we have 4, -2, 3, -5, and 4. So which is the greatest exponent there? Hopefully you were thinking 4, so we've got a tie here. So we have 7 and 92 hundredths, and 7, if I add a 0, it's 7 and 90 hundredths. So which one is greater? Good, this one. And so that means this one is second. Now looking at what I have left, the +3 is the next largest. And so what is larger, -2 or -5? Good, -2. And then lastly, -5. Now, when you order these, you need to rewrite the whole thing. Okay, don't just leave the numbers here. You will not get credit if you just leave the numbers. So 7 and 92 hundredths times 10 to the fourth. 7 and 9 tenths times 10 to the fourth. 124 hundredths times 10 to the third. 562 hundredths times 10 to the negative second. And last, 2 35 hundredths times 10 to the negative fifth. So box that in. And there's our final answer. Now, look at the last one, last page here. And before you try them on your own, I want to do this number line together. So it says, order the following on the number line from least to greatest. Plot each rational number on the number line to help you put them in order. So this first one is 55 hundredths. So where would that fit on this number line? Good, between the 5 and the 6, because this is 50 hundredths, this is 60 hundredths. So I can put it right in the middle. And let's write 55 hundredths. Okay, where would 60% go? Change it to a decimal, it would be 0.60, which would go right here. So we can label that 60%. Okay, this one, 1.5 times 10 to the negative first. If I change it, I move it 1 to the left, so it would be 0.15, which would go between 10 hundredths and 20 hundredths, so right in the middle. 1.5 times 10 to the negative first. And we have 7 and 5 tenths percent, which would go 1, 2 to the left. So this would be 0.075. So that's less than 0.1, so it would go right about here. Not quite 1/2. Okay, so that's 7.5%. And then the last one here. Normally we do long division, but we're going to skip that part, and I'm just going to tell you it's 0.875. So since it starts with 0.8, it's going to be between 0.8 and 0.9, but closer to 0.9. So right about here, we'll call that 7/8. Now, what I'd like you to do is pause the video and do the next 2 questions on your own. Okay, welcome back. Let's see how you did on the 2 questions on your own. It says, which statement is not true? So if I look at the exponent here, it's 10 to the negative first, so 1 to the left, so it'd be 0.89, that's good. If I change it to a percent, it's 89%, so this is okay, so I'm going to cross it out because I'm looking not true. 9/25, it's a friendly fraction. I multiply top and bottom by 4. I get 36 hundredths, which of course is 36%. Which of course is 0.36, so that one's good. 1 and 7/8 is 1.875. But watch what happens when I change it to a percent. 1, 2. It'd be 187.5%. Is that true? No, it's not 18.75%. So its correct answer is H, because it was looking for which statement is not true. Now, which is the greatest? We can change all these to numbers by multiplying the top and bottom by 2. So it's 2 and 4 tenths, which is 2.4. This one, move it 1 to the left, is 0.245. This one, 2 to the left, 1, 2, is 0.2025. And then we have 2.25. Okay, so it's between 2.25 and 2 and 4 tenths. So if I drop a 0 here, which is larger, 2 and 25 hundredths or 2 and 40 hundredths? Good, the correct answer is A. That concludes our part 2 notes on comparing and ordering rational numbers. I hope you have a great day.